Why is losing weight so important? Sure, looking good is part of it, but it's even more important for our health. Good health brings us energy and joyful living, a body and brain functioning at their best. On the other hand, the CDC says the consequence of obesity is an increased risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, asthma, sleep apnea, joint problems, and gallstones. The World Health Organization adds some cancers such as breast, ovarian, prostate, liver, and colon. The CDC says that for children, the consequences include psychological problems and low self-esteem. In this video, we'll explore the connection between weight gain and meat with a surprise about chicken and what we can do about it. Have you ever tried to pinpoint the exact cause of your weight gain other than the general I eat too many calories or I'm not exercising? It's difficult, right? Weight creeps up slowly and steadily, and then overnight we've gained 20 pounds, but it only seems like it's overnight. Researchers in this study on long-term weight gain note, weight gain often occurs gradually over decades, about a pound per year, making it difficult for most people to perceive the specific causes. For the book, How Not to Diet, Dr. Michael Greger and his research team reviewed nearly 500,000 papers published in English language, peer-reviewed medical literature on weight management. There is no one silver bullet or easy button to lose weight. Our bodies are highly complex systems of interconnected systems. Dr. Greger lists 17 factors that make up the healthiest and most effective ways to lose weight, like eating foods rich in fiber, as I talked about in How to Lose Weight Part 1 video. Other factors include eating more anti-inflammatory foods, cutting down on sugar. This does not apply to fruit, by the way. Eating water-rich foods like cucumbers, strawberries, and zucchini, cutting down on added fat, cutting down on meat. Wait, what? I expect weight gain if I eat a lot of cheese, but eat meat, gain weight? I've never heard that. When my family and I were still eating meat, we ate meat with every meal and we picked side dishes to complement the meat. As a mom, I encourage my son to eat plenty of lean red meat and chicken breast, low fat and lots of protein. Well, I got the protein part right. I talked about the protein glut and the power of plant protein in the Are We Getting Enough Protein video. The Mayo Clinic writes, the body can't store protein, so once needs are met, any extra is used for energy or stored as fat. You're probably thinking, are you sure about this? Eat meat, gain weight? The researchers in the 7-year follow-up study examined the long-term association between eating more animal or vegetable protein with overweight and obesity among 1,730 middle-aged employees at the Chicago Western Electric Company. The researchers controlled for age, calories, amount of carbohydrate and saturated fat, education, cigarette smoking, alcohol, and history of chronic disease or diabetes. The researchers report a statistically significant positive association was seen between animal protein intake and obesity. Those in higher quartiles of vegetable protein intake had lower odds of being obese. Dr. Garth Davis, author of Proteinaholic, explains, animal protein was clearly and significantly associated with weight gain, while plant protein actually was associated with weight loss. But haven't we all heard that all it takes to lose weight is to eat less and exercise more? It's not eat less meat and exercise more. The researchers in this study looked at 3 separate 4-year-long cohorts of about 120,000 U.S. men and women. The researchers were investigating what dietary and lifestyle behaviors might impact the eat less and exercise more strategy. They verified the link between eating meat and gaining weight, independent of what the participants were eating and their physical activity. Eating meat by itself causes weight gain. Your next thought is probably, how much meat am I eating? Not that much, right? If you're living 74-10 style or eating a vegetarian, vegan, or whole foods plant-based diet, I'll agree with you. For everyone else, take a look at this chart on what the National Chicken Council is reporting on meat consumption. The National Chicken Council uses USDA data that goes back to 1960, and back then our total meat consumption was 167.2 pounds per person in the US. Total meat here includes beef, pork, chicken, and turkey. 15 years later, in 1975, Americans ate about 183 pounds of meat. Let's skip ahead 15 years to 1990. Total meat was 197.5 pounds. In 30 years, we found room in our stomachs for an additional 30 pounds of meat. 15 years later, in 2005, total meat was 219.6 pounds. Moving on to 2020, Americans ate 224.1 pounds of meat per person. From 1960 to 2020, total meat increased almost 57 pounds. Ready for the 2023 forecast? The prediction is for 227.5 pounds. Wow. Divide that by 365 days. That is almost 10 ounces or over half a pound of meat per person per day. Now you must be wondering how much meat you can eat before you gain weight. The researchers in this 20-month study wanted to know the same thing. In How Not to Diet, Dr. Greger writes about this study. Those eating about 3 more ounces of meat a day had 3 times the risk of gaining 5 or more pounds. 3 ounces of meat is about the size of a deck of cards. That's a tiny bit of meat. I was definitely eating a lot more than that when I was eating meat. Go ahead and say it. Everyone knows that you eat grilled chicken to lose weight. The objective of this study was to assess the association between eating different types of meat and weight gain after 5 years of follow-up on the people that were part of the EPIC Panacea project. EPIC Panacea stands for European Prospective Investigation into Cancer and Nutrition, Physical Activity, Nutrition, Alcohol Cessation of Smoking, Eating Out of Home, and Obesity. The EPIC Panacea project includes data from almost 350,000 adults across 10 European countries. The researchers write, in conclusion, our results indicate that meat intake is positively associated with weight gain during adult life in European subjects. Sounds like eat meat, gain weight to me. However, here's the twist. The researchers found the strongest relation with annual weight change was observed for poultry. Dr. Greger writes about this study. The surprise, though, was that poultry appeared to be the most fattening. Consumption of poultry, mostly chicken, was associated with 3 times the weight gain compared to red meat like beef. I was astonished. Eating chicken can pack on the pounds? In this study of over 3,900 men and women from the Netherlands cohort study, the researchers write, in addition, women and men with the highest chicken consumption had a greater increase in BMI compared to those with the lowest intake after 14 years. By highest chicken consumption, they meant over only 22.8 grams per day. 22.8 grams is less than an ounce. Eat a little bit of chicken, gain more weight. How much chicken are we eating? Let's check back in with the National Chicken Council. On this chart, you'll see the breakdown of chicken, pork, and beef consumption, along with the line we talked about earlier for total meat. In 1960, Americans ate 28 pounds of chicken. In 1975, about 39 pounds of chicken, up to 60.6 pounds of chicken in 1990. At least the amount of beef we were eating decreased. In 2005, we ate 86.4 pounds of chicken. Then in 2020, Americans ate 97.2 pounds of chicken. From 1960 to 2020, total chicken consumption increased over 69 pounds. Ready for the 2023 forecast? Are you sitting down? 102.4 pounds of chicken. That is almost 0.27 pounds, over a quarter of a pound of chicken a day. That translates to over 127 grams. I realize it's obvious, but 127 grams is a whole lot more than 22.8 grams. I really thought that chicken was the lean, healthy choice for meat. The researchers for this study write, a search of the literature and our own data reveals that while chicken was at one time a low-fat food, it is no longer. They found that in today's chicken, more calories come from fat than from protein, along with a reduction in DHA, an omega-3 fatty acid. They comment on the high fat and low DHA amount, saying, both likely to impact on human health. As demand for chicken has risen and we take the attitude that chickens are little meat machines, chicken producers cram tens of thousands of chickens in large, windowless sheds that can breed filth and disease. A Washington Post reporter writes, dust, feathers, and ammonia choke the air in the chicken house, and fans turn it into airborne sandpaper, rubbing skin raw. Consumer Reports writes that chicken and turkey account for 21% of salmonella illnesses and 67% of Campylobacter illnesses. Those two pathogens are responsible for 51% of the bacterial foodborne illnesses in the U.S. 51% means 1.9 million illnesses and 28,000 hospitalizations. The CDC estimates that 1 in every 25 packages of chicken is contaminated with salmonella. So what can we do about it? Dr. Garth Davis is a bariatric surgeon who switched to a plant-based diet. He writes in Proteinaholic about his patients. By the time they come to see me, they've given up on themselves. I have to labor mightily to convince them that they are not failures. Rather, the diet failed them by creating an unnatural state that their bodies will rebel against. Please take that to heart. The foods we eat can fail us. Dr. Davis's conclusion is the same as ours. Eating lots of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and legumes is associated with staying healthy. In talking about a whole foods, plant-based diet and exercise, Dr. T. Colin Campbell writes, "It is a long-term lifestyle change rather than a quick fix fad, and it can provide sustained weight loss while minimizing risk of chronic disease." If you're like us, you may have to prove to yourself that you can survive and thrive without meat. An easy way to reduce the amount of meat and chicken you're eating is to find substitutes. Some that we enjoy are Gardein crispy tenders. An example of a lunch create a plate for us is our Mondo salad with a whole grain wrap filled with a couple chicken tenders, romaine lettuce, onions, pickles, jalapeno peppers, and a mustard and vinegar dressing. Butler's soy curls. They stay in the pantry and it is easy to soak the soy curls to hydrate them. You can add barbecue sauce to them for a delicious barbecue sandwich or add them to your stir fry. They take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking, but with a meat-like consistency. And don't forget tofu and the whole legume family. Add tofu to your stir fry. We use black beans and refried beans for our enchiladas and southwestern sweet potato. An example of a dinner create-a plate is whole grain pasta with mushrooms, peppers, onions, diced tomatoes, and garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. Your challenge for the next few weeks is to recognize that animal-based foods sabotage your ability to lose weight. Eat meat, gain weight. Then start to reduce the amount of meat you're eating. Wherever you're starting, be realistic for you and your family. You might have to start by eating 10% less meat or 1 less chicken nugget. Check out the alternate meats in the freezer section in your grocery store. These days, many restaurants offer vegan or vegetarian alternatives to meat. Before you know it, the meat you were cooking for 1 meal will now make 2 or 3 meals. Or perhaps you can go 1 day a week without any meat. Or even better, try 12 days or 21 days without eating meat. Your body and waistline will thank you, and your health will blossom even faster. But eating less meat and chicken is only one part of your weight loss journey. Keep working on your create-a plate. Add more fruits, vegetables, grains, and beans, and get your body moving to lose weight. The 10 principles of 74-10 style provide a holistic, whole foods, plant-based framework designed to give my family and me a sense of well-being, both physical and mental, the energy to do the things we would like to do, and feeling a joy for life. Pile on those plants and remember to take it 1 day at a time until it's 7 days a week, forever 10.